evening, and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson Knight. Of course, with the night is the cubby with the mostest. Our lovely techy show. How are you, darling?
I'm doing quite well. And no, Brenda, you're not late.
No.
Hey, Devin. Hey, Brenda.
Hi, guys. No, not late. We were sitting here trying to figure out what to talk about. Because it's been a really bad week. So it's kind of like, let's see what straws we want to pull out of the hat that's on fire.
Oh, gosh. Wow. All right.
First of all, Dame Edna decides to die and get out of here.
Well,
Apparently, she had a pre-booked appointment or show because right behind her, not a week later, the famously late Jerry Springer passed away.
Yes. So, I figure that's going to be a heck of a show, considering we also lost Harry Belafonte and I never can remember her name, but there was the woman in Alabama who accused Emmett Till. That's one hell of a show.
Right.
That's one hell of a show.
Yeah.
And it is sad, Brenda. I'm there with you. Harry Belafonte was 96. I remember that. Dame Edna was in their 80s, weren't they?
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly, but Dame Edna's been around for a while.
They have. It's been very sad. I love Dame Edna. I have always been a fan of hers, and I've always been a fan of her performance. But again, they're in that age. And of course, Jerry Springer. There's not a house in America that did not have the former mayor of Cleveland in their living room.
Oh. Do what now?
You didn't know Jerry Springer used to be the mayor of Cleveland?
Oh, God, I kind of forgot that. Ooh.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's 89. Dame Edna was 89.
Right.
Sorry, I was trying to multitask and look that up, and I'd totally forgotten he used to be, Cincinnati, Devin says, mayor of Cincinnati.
Right.
Not Cleveland.
Is it Cincinnati? Okay. I knew it was in Ohio. I'm like, how?
Sonny Bono was what, governor of Florida?
No, Sonny Bono was the mayor of
what?
California.
Miami?
No, it was in California. Palm Springs.
Oh.
Well, hello, Miss Shannon. Here's a good one for us, since we like talking economics around here. Why I let our 3-year-old out, or whatever his problem is.
Oh, we got a good one. Let's see. So, yay, over at LGBTQ Nation, a new financial survey reveals that being LGBTQ plus is expensive. The cost of family formation, gender affirming care, as well as name and gender marker changers create unique financial hurdles for LGBTQ plus people. So according to the Center for LGBTQ Economic Advancement and Research, CLEAR, LGBTQ plus people in the United States face many economic and financial disparities compared to their straight peers, often driven or exacerbated by experiences of discrimination. Existing research shows that LGBTQ plus people face consistently higher rates of poverty, food insecurity, unemployment, and job discrimination, among other disparities. Those inequities are often even worse for transgender people and people of color. Yet, a historical lack of data collection among these groups by the government and other organizations has contributed to a shortfall of empirical information regarding financial health, well-being, access, and security issues that face LGBTQ plus Americans. According to CLEAR, this limits public understanding of the experiences of LGBTQ plus population and the causes of or contributors to the obstacles they face. It also hampers the effectiveness of policies or interventions intended to improve lives and economic stability. Now, for the first time, a new survey sponsored by Clear and the Movement Advancement Project offers a comprehensive look at the financial well-being of LGBTQ plus communities. The first LGBTQI plus economic and financial LEAF survey illustrates the power of inclusive data collection to illuminate the unique experiences of LGBTQ plus people and support informed decision making.
Yeah.
So what statistics were you finding that really resonated? Ooh.
Well, that it's actually more expensive to be LGBTQ.
Well, and talking about the struggles that people have,
Right.
so our top priorities as members of the LGBTQI plus are paying all my bills on time, reducing or paying off my personal debt at the very top, and at the very bottom are saving for adoption, fertility, or conception related costs, and saving for a big event like a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, looking at that across the board, paying all my bills on time is 72% of people's top financial priority. And then top but not a financial priority at 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Reducing or paying off my personal debt for 39% of people, it's a top financial priority. For 32%, it's important, but not a top priority. Then coming back down to the saving for adoption, fertility, or conception related costs, it is 8% of people's top priority and 14% of people's important, but not top financial priority. Saving for a big event like a wedding only comes in at a measly 5% as a top financial priority, and 17% say it's important, but not a top financial priority.
Well, what gets me is, and it's really interesting to me overall, is we apparently are more financially responsible, improving our credit score, reducing or paying off our personal debt, paying all our bills, and buying a home.
Mm-hmm.
Saving money or saving for children or children's college spending. 26% is the national average. We are only 10% of that.
Yeah. I mean, but the joke of or it turns out that dual income, no kids financial freedom is a joke.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what's happening. That's not who we are.
Right.
Like, dual income, no kids. Dinks, we are not.
Nope.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Shannon.
It has always been my statement: the LGBT community is the most untapped marketed community, except in June. Except in June, we are tapped and paid attention to like, I don't know, Bella at the ball.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Every company around rolls up their sleeves, pulls out their rainbow, stamps it across their packages, puts their commercials on, and shall we talk about the Subaru Kia situation?
The Subaru Kia or the Hyundai Kia?
Hyundai Kia.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's not bring Subaru into this. We like Subaru.
They did it too.
Well, they did, but they showed up at a time. Well, like, and that's sometimes the divider line. Are companies that showed up when it seriously could have destroyed them. Yeah. And the companies that just slap it on their packaging and like, hi, we support you for 1 month a year. Subaru, like literally long term, long term. It wasn't just like for the month of June, but like as part of their major ad campaigns for a very long time,
right?
Had coded messages to the LGBTQ population,
right?
Oh yeah, Walmart already has their rainbow display out. It's been out for a month. Yeah, Brenda, like, yeah, Walmart being LGBTQ friendly is not a thing.
Right.
Like,
It's
you know.
laughable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, granted,
Mm-hmm.
Walmart has also faced a lot of backlash
Mm-hmm.
for any LGBTQ support.
Right.
Like they have long faced backlash for that. Like they it's kind of Christian Mart as far as conservatives are concerned. In terms of like the rest of the nation that shops there, they look for Walmart to only be, you know, family friendly.
Right.
In terms of focus on the family friendly, not woohoo gay pride family friendly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Kia Hyundai situation coming in your box, this is kind of troublesome for us since we own one of them.
Oh no. So these Kias and Hyundais are being blacklisted by some insurance companies. Two companies are denying coverage for these Kia and Hyundai vehicles because they're so easily hot wired. Car insurance companies don't take unnecessary risks, and now for State Farm and Progressive, many Hyundais and Kias are a risk they are not willing to take, at least temporarily. The reason, that same viral TikTok trend from the Kia boys we covered back in February, and this is from Lifehacker, covered back in February, in which users learned how to easily hotwire the vehicles. Since then, the thefts have only increased, leading to 18 attorney generals to recently call on the federal government to step in and demand a recall for the effective Kia and Hyundai vehicles. So those blacklisted vehicles, dear Lord, 2015 to 2021 Hyundai Accent, 2015 to 2021 Hyundai Elantra, Kona, Santa Fe, Tucson, and Veloster. Meanwhile, Kia, and excuse me, that's 2015 to 2018 Hyundai Veloster.
Yep.
Now on the Kia side of it, it's the 2015 to 2021 Forte Optima Rio, Sedona, Sorento, Soul, or excuse me, not Sorento, Soul, and Sportage. And then the 2015 to 2016 Kia Sorento and the 2015 to 2016 Kia Optima Hybrid.
Right.
Sorry, I was trying to keep those together like where it was repetitive.
Right.
So yeah, if you own one of those vehicles, you need to be looking forward to your recall, because right now you may be losing temporarily your insurance coverage on them.
Right. And that's I think that's going to affect our decision making here very quickly.
Oh, yeah. So this article does point out not everyone will be affected equally. It depends on the vehicle and location. The latest official announcement by State Farm lists Georgia, Louisiana, Oregon, Washington, and Pennsylvania as the states where new policies or renewed policies will be denied. Cities like Denver and St. Louis and states like Texas have also seen bans or increases in insurance. The restrictions apply to those looking for a new policy, not current policyholders. However, at the very least, most vehicle owners from the list will see an increase in their car's insurance if it's granted at all. The restriction is waived if the vehicles have an engine immobilizer installed. That's electronic security technology that makes it harder for thieves to hotwire vehicles if they don't have the key to start the engine. So, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Oh, good Lord. This is how 90s we are. So other than waiting for your turn to get the software update from the dealership, you can do some preventative DIY anti-theft precautions. Claim your free wheel lock from Kia or Hyundai or your local police department. Make sure you always leave your windows rolled up all the way. Make sure your doors are always locked. If parking the car overnight or over an extended period of time, leave it in a well-lit area or garage, and if possible, in an area with a security camera. If parking it at home, it's worth the investment to install motion sensor lights and have a home security camera. At the very least, it'll spook some potential thieves from trying to steal the car. How antiquated does that
Sure.
list of solutions sound? Like this is the wheel lock, the little two-prong wheel lock.
Yeah.
Like, hi.
Yeah.
Hi. The 90s called. They want their wheel lock back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. Oh, so, so Shannon says, yeah, Elantras are bad for that. My coworker is freaking out because she's worried West Virginia will ban them soon.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
I'd be trading.
Oh, I can definitely understand why. That is a seriously screwed up situation to be in. Come on, Kia. Come on, Hyundai. Y'all can do better than
Well,
this.
they've not done better yet.
I know, but it's like y'all can do better.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Y'all
like
have done better.
Fox recall that we're still that we got the recall. We were real good boys. He even booked it, took it over, had his coffee, waited forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Did the recall. The recall part is what failed on ours.
Uh-huh.
As in, they installed the new part, and the new part is what has failed exactly as their recall notice said the original part failed.
Right.
And I'm sitting here going, I don't think you fixed it.
Right.
Don't think you fixed it. Don't think you fixed it. I do not like having my brakes fail while driving, though I do appreciate where my brakes decide to fail at.
Right.
And I really, really, really don't like having to disconnect my battery.
Right.
To keep the car from catching on fire.
Right.
I'm just saying, design better. Design better. Do better.
Right.
You look traumatized.
DHR sends messages to beneficiaries who live outside the state.
Okay. I didn't think you could be a DHHR beneficiary who lived outside of the state.
That's my question. I didn't think you could.
Well, I mean, I guess you could, especially since we outsource a lot of our foster care. Because we do effectively send kids out of state. So DHHR sends messages to beneficiaries who live out of state. The West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources has started mailing notices to people they say receive benefits from the state, but who have been identified as also having residency in another state. An announcement from the DHHR posted this week on their social media advises those who get a notification to respond if they are hoping to maintain benefits. They can email dhhrparis@wv.gov. There's an online form available at the DHHR website. What? I feel like Metro News shortchanged us on this story.
Well, again,
why?
Yeah, you click
it. Who are you targeting?
Yeah.
Like, is it just people who moved and forgot to update and continued to get their benefits, yet were most likely either applied for, benefits in another state, which I thought automatically terminated, applied for a driver's license in another state or some other form of a, government license.
Right.
Like some operating license or whatever. Or like what prompted this? I feel like you missed the story.
Right.
This is like a weird legal notice there, Metro News. What is this?
Yeah. Well, Key West, they're even attacking this. Oh, come on. Here we go. Now we're going back to our favorite state and one of my possible vacation plans.
Ooh.
Now in a lawsuit.
So, a woman files discrimination complaint against gay men's resort?
Uh-huh.
A Florida Keys woman claimed this is your favorite state is Florida?
No.
Okay, sorry. I was hoping you were being
a vacation spot.
All right, fair enough. Claims she was the victim of discrimination because she could not stay at an all-male clothing optional resort for gay and bisexual men in Key West. The resort's owners and attorneys claim they do rent separate apartment units to women, but they don't allow that specific woman to stay there because she was disruptive and combative during an annual fundraising event that welcomes women at the resort for a cocktail party around the pool. Mina Chaudhry filed a complaint against the Island House Key West Resort with the Florida Commission on Human Relations, which addresses discrimination issues. The complaint states that Chaudhry seeks no monetary damages, but rather wants to reverse the resort's supposedly discriminatory policy, as well as being reimbursed for any court costs and legal fees. Chaudhry, who lives in Kuja Key, represented herself at an administrative hearing held via Zoom on Monday and Tuesday, April 24th and 5th, while attorneys Ashley Simbeza and Wayne LaRue Smith represented the Island House and its owner, Bobby Lohr. Chaudhry's complaint stems from a June 2022 event at the Island House, which hosts an all-welcome Pride kickoff party and fundraiser at the start of Key West Pride celebration every June. Women and non-guests are welcome at the annual party from 5 to 9 p.m., where clothing is required around the pool. Chaudhry attended the Pride kickoff party at Island House in June 2021 and again in June 2022. In 2021, when the kickoff party and fundraiser was ending and females and non-guests were asked to leave the resort, Chaudhry questioned owner Bobby Lohr about why she couldn't stay and why the resort didn't allow women, Lohr testified this week. Chaudhry took no action against the Island House until the following year's Pride kickoff party on June 1st, 2022, which she also attended. While there in 2022, she placed flyers on tables around the resort's pool, citing the state's discrimination laws and questioning its all-male policy. When invited into a private office area to discuss her concerns with owner Bobby Lohr and the resort manager, Chaudhry eventually told them it was her intention to sue the Island House for discrimination against women, according to testimony from Lohr and manager Jeffrey Smead at the hearing this week. Quote, I felt affronted by the fact that here was someone who was invited to the space and enjoying it, but while passing out literature to the detriment of our property and aggravating our guests, Lohr testified before administrative law judge John Van Lanningham. We eventually had the police escort her off the property. During the hearing, the judge repeatedly reminded Chaudhry that she needed to base her case and arguments on whether she was individually discriminated against, not whether the resort's overall all-male policy was discriminatory. I'm not here to decide in the abstract whether that policy is illegal or discriminatory, Van Lanningham said. This is about whether the business individually discriminated against you. Chaudhry testified that when she and other non-guests were asked to leave the Pride kickoff party in 2022, she told the resort staff she would instead book a room there for the night. She was told the resort was fully booked and it was the start of Pride Week Pride in Key West. Further testimony revealed that Island House has rented units to women since at least 2003, Attorney Smith said. Those units are separate 1 and 2 bedroom apartments adjacent to the resort complex. Female guests are not admitted to the main clothing optional facility, but, Lohr testified, Island House has agreements with Alexander's Guest House across the street, which allows female guests from the Island House access to its pool and amenities. The Island House also has an agreement with Key West Fitness on Caroline Street for their rare female guests. Attorney Smith said the resort only gets about 2 calls a year from women interested in staying there. Attorney Ashley Simbeza told the Keys Weekly that Chaudhry's own witness, a former front desk manager at Island House, testified, Simbeza said, paraphrasing his testimony that, quote, usually when women call, it's by mistake. They think they're calling Island City House, a family-friendly, all-welcome resort in Key West, she said. When they hear it's a clothing optional resort that primarily serves gay and bisexual men, they realize they called the wrong place and booked somewhere else. Chaudhry told the Keys Weekly on April 26, quote, in no way do I want this to be an attack on gay men.
Bullshit.
I fully support them having safe spaces that are welcoming. I don't want to go to outer space either, but if someone suddenly said no women were allowed in space, I'd be first to join the protest. Resort manager Jeffrey Smead testified that Chaudhry was not denied a room because she's a woman, but rather because she had behaved poorly, and the resort's liquor license gives them the right to refuse service to someone who's being disruptive. The complaint process now continues for another 60 to 90 days as the judge considers the testimony and drafts a recommended order to the Commission on Human Relations. Attorney Wayne LaRue Smith told the Keys Weekly after the hearing on May 25th. Quote, "We're very pleased with how the hearing went and are confident the judge has a good grasp of the circumstances," Smith said. "We are persuaded that our methods and model of doing business are in full compliance with the law." What?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where we're at.
I'm very confused. You're not opposed to the island house or gay men having male only spaces, but you sued them anyway.
Yeah.
And you don't see how that might be interpreted as, negative, inappropriate, not supportive.
Oh, I don't know. It's a male-only space. Next, she'll sue Planet Fitness for only allowing men into the locker room, the men's locker room.
Well, yeah. I mean, granted, I sort of get the theory here is that, we do have this problem with separate but equal when it comes to gender.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have a tendency to have a problem with, there occasionally being spaces for men, but not women.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to clothing optional resort space.
Right.
And I get that, that there's not often a women's equivalent. This is tricky, though. I don't think any business owner should be forced to run a business that they do not want to run. Right. Nor does it seem like there's really the reason those spaces often don't exist is because sometimes there's just not a demand for them.
Right.
Like, if you can demonstrate demand, I'm sure you can get a business owner behind you. Like, right. Everyone likes making money.
Right.
I'm sure there can be a business owner interested in running a clothing optional all-female resort.
Right.
That typically hasn't been the case, though.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying there is zero interest. I'm just saying it's of lower interest.
Right.
Like, male only tends to have a very high draw.
Right.
Like, you can pretty much open one of those anywhere. You're almost guaranteed to have clientele.
Right.
It's frankly like setting up like a turnkey car wash or a turnkey dog wash or whatever. You put that there, they will come.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not the best descriptor for a clothing optional resort, but you get my opinion.
Right.
Oh, but no. So basically, she's suing primarily because she doesn't have equal access.
Right.
Yeah.
If anything, she probably has better access.
How so?
Okay, if you compare the two island houses, they have a contract with Alexandria House. The suites are bigger. The suites are bigger. Okay. Mm-hmm. They have made contracts with other locations that provide the same services at a nicer thing, and she's going to get a discount.
Well, and primarily she doesn't have a case in this situation because, quite frankly,
right,
she wasn't denied a room because she was a woman. She was denied a room because she was disruptive.
Right.
Like, the middle of an event, generally not being hosted by the place that you're protesting against, normally considered disruptive when you go at least even quietly protesting in the middle of their event.
Right.
Like, most people find that pretty annoying.
Right.
Like, reasonably so.
Right.
And then no one wants you to stay.
Now, this one I find particularly interesting because it's like, this is old news, but okay, let's go for it.
Okay. All right. So from The Guardian. Oh, dawn of the new pagans. Everyone's welcome as long as you keep your clothes on. Oh, I love it. So this is, well, it's a very recent article, though. It's only April 27th.
Right. But, just thinking back over the turn of the times, I think it would be late 80s, no, or late 70s, early 80s, where there was a big worry about people keeping their clothes on.
Okay. Well, from the Green Man on King Charles' coronation invitation to celebrations selling out the UK, more and more people identify as pagan, or at least pagan curious, what lies behind its growing appeal. It's nearly Beltane, and pagans across the country are getting ready to celebrate one of the 8 festivals in the Wheel of the Year. Beltane is observed from 30th April to 1st of May in the Northern Hemisphere and is an occasion for joyful ritual that marks the moment spring bursts into life with fires, flower garlands, and perhaps a maypole. To be in a circle, to have a huge bell fire, and to jump the ashes into the full summer, it's very life enhancing, says Adrian Rook, a druid from the Order of Bards, Ovids, and Druids, which runs druidery courses. Nellie Stafford, a practicing eclectic pagan and the organizer of Beltane at Thornborough Henge in North Yorkshire, agrees. It's a really nice start to the year after a long, cold winter. A regular since 2011, Stafford describes the energy and stunning skies at the 3 ancient hinges and the event's welcoming spirit. There's a full range from babies to old people with walkers and electric wheelchairs, she said. The majority of people are pagan, but Wiccans and Christians are also welcome, as well as their 4-legged friends. We've had cats, dogs, a bunny, ferrets. Everybody's welcome as long as you keep your clothes on. It's a similar scene at Buster Ancient Farms' eclectic Beltane Celtic Fire Festival. Say that 5 times fast. In Hampshire, more pagan inspired than actual ritual. There's drumming, Celtic face painting, flower crowns, a May Queen, and a Green Man. Not to mention a dramatic 40-foot wicker man that gets burned at dusk. It's a joyful celebration, a collective coming together with a decent amount of mead, which is an essential component, says Kristen Devi, who runs events at Buster. If you're thinking that sounds like fun, you're out of luck this year. Overnight camping spots for the Beltane at Thornborough were booked up weeks ago, and there's no space left for day visitors. Butser, which has capacity for 2,500 guests, is also completely sold out. We used to be able to sell tickets on the door, Debbie says. Now our final release sold out literally in minutes. It was akin to the big festival tickets feeling. That's a striking degree of enthusiasm for what would once have been considered seriously fringe celebrations. Is paganism a loosely defined constellation of faith based on beliefs predating the main world religions going mainstream? King Charles' coronation invitation features a prominent image of the Green Man, an ancient figure from British folklore symbolic of spring and rebirth, as the royal website puts it, creating what one paper called a paganism row, basically a cross tweet from one member of Mumford and Sons. Thriving fantasy literature and cinema genres are rich in pagan symbolism, and British folk revival musicians frequently draw on pagan inspiration. While less than half the UK population identified as Christian in the 2020 census, 74,000 people declared they were pagan, an increase of 17,000 since 2011. And that might well be a significant underreporting. When the preeminent scholar of British paganism, Professor Ronald Hutton, investigated in the 1990s, he came up with 110,000, much higher than the contemporary census total. Most of the pagans with whom I've kept in touch do not enter themselves on the census, he also notes. Pagan groups report a similar story. When I joined OBOD 29 years ago, says Rook, there were about 240 people doing the Druid course. There are upwards of 30,000 now worldwide, and the course is in Dutch, Italian, German, Heatherany, based on Northern European traditions of polytheistic and spirit worship and ancestor veneration, is also seeing massive growth. According to Jack Hudson from the Inclusive Heathen Community, Asatru UK. When we started in 2013, there were 8 of us. Now about 4,000 people have interacted with us over the past 10 years. Meanwhile, a 2014 survey by the Pew Research Center estimated at least 0.3% of people in the U.S. identified as pagan or Wiccan, which translates to about 1 million people. That number is expected to triple by 2050. What is paganism in 2023? For starters, it's essentially a contemporary creation drawing on ancient traditions. There were no card-carrying, self-conscious pagans from the mid-11th century until the Romantic movement in the 18th century, said Hutton. Although elements endured in Christianity, neo-pagans only started to establish continuous traditions in the early 20th century. It's also the broadest of churches, spanning witchcraft, Wicca, the organized witchcraft-based religion founded in the 1950s, shamanism, druidry, heathenry, and a vast swath of non-affiliated eclectic pagans. It has become incredibly mainstream, and that means it's become incredibly diverse, says Professor of Theology Linda Woodhead, who has researched the rise of alternative spiritualities. One thing that has helped make paganism mainstream is the internet. Finding Druids when he first became interested, says Rook, was near impossible. They were like the Masons. You had to be invited in. Now the pagan curious can find information and resources on every subvariant imaginable online. Groups advertise moots, meetups, and larger gatherings welcome all comers. Social media has played a huge part too. Witch talk is huge. The #witch hashtag has 24.1 billion views on TikTok, plus 19.1 million Instagram posts. It's definitely made magic more accessible, 100%, says Semra Hacksever, eclectic witch and owner of the Mama Moon Candle and Potion Shop in East London. There was always so much secrecy around how you'd meet people and how other people would practice. Now it's really easy to connect, to learn how to do things. I can't remember a time when I was connected with so many other women who are into witchcraft. Oh, so online resources have also enabled a vertiginous rise in solitary pagans, or people whose practice is largely private. Getting pagans to do anything together is like herding cats, laughs Dr. Liz Williams, author of Miracles of Our Own Making, a history of British paganism and co-owner of an online witchcraft shop. A lot of people feel they don't want to be told what to do. They're just happy getting out into nature and doing their own thing. The sacredness of nature is one of the core pagan beliefs that holds obvious appeal now, as said.
Okay, we can stop there because we've gone into the DR movement.
Okay, sorry. Wow, this really goes on for a while.
Yes,
I didn't think it was that long.
You can tell a Druid wrote it. It takes 5 days to read it.
Like, sorry, I was dying over here, guys. Like, God.
Well, that's where you got to learn where PR kicks in. Like, we are love and light and love the earth and everything around it. Yes, that's true, but we don't need to put it in every article.
Oh, what was I said the other day? Love. Oh, no, never mind. That was a conversation I was having with someone else. Never mind.
That's okay. Love, light, and what?
Oh. No, I made a joke the other day that I've always found it or one of the things I found the most interesting, I do have to say, about paganism, Wicca, the whole community.
Right.
Is there's not a lot of people in the middle. It's either, love, light, and guns, or love, light, and gun control. Right. There's not a lot of in between.
Right.
There's not a lot of in between. So far, the people I've met, it really falls into 2 distinct categories. Love, light, and guns, or love, light, and gun control.
Right. what I find interesting is a representative of the new generation on the throne now, too, is taking on the title of Defender of the Faith, among others. King Charles has already expressed his desire to uphold that promise. Wouldn't it be refreshing if he incorporated elements of ancient, modern, tolerant, open, life affirming, female friendly faith in his reign?
Well, so here's. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
He is already, high nature, high enforcement of being friendly to the earth and the world around us. There's a green man on the coronation invitation, and he's almost certainly has a good collection of cloaks. Perhaps it's time for a pagan king. That's more interesting because, as we know, Queen Elizabeth was a member of the Bard until she resigned her title because she could not hold it and be, I don't know, anyway, there was some little stupid thing Parliament did. She couldn't be member of the Bard and the head of the Church of England. Oh, it was to give recognition to the Bard as being a religious organization.
There we go. Now here's my whole thing, and the reason I think I kept reading was I was trying to look for the connection to the other half of the title. As long as you keep your clothes on. Well, like I just kept reading, trying to find okay, are we going to talk about that?
No, they're not going to talk about Skyclad.
Well, but as in how it fell out of disfavor, why it fell out of disfavor, okay. Why it was in favor to begin with. I mean, it seems like if you're going to open that in your title,
right,
you really ought to talk about it in your article.
Well, let's talk about it in our conversation then.
There you go.
Okay. It fell out of favor when we started having family Wiccans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when we started having little kiddos and kids at events, and it's like, nope. Put your clothes on, the 3-year-olds in the house.
It seems like a quick way to lose child custody.
Yes. Around 74, right. And, then there were some incidents in 72 and 73 and 74. It was like, this is over with. We need to make this family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the 80s, much like the LGBT movement, paganism began getting what I call the mainstream whitewash.
Right. Well, but I think also during those periods, these, for the adults at least, momentarily don't think of the children.
Right.
Like, I think that was never going to work, and the adults with children knew that and just quickly went, okay, we'll do our own thing over here with other adults with children, and it'll be fine. But I think there was this kind of edginess period starting in the 50s,
mm-hmm.
in which we see a lot of, odd play with nudity.
Right.
Like lots of skinny dipping, lots of trying to and then you have the 60s nudist revival.
Right.
That we became very nudity communal during the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Right.
And then somewhere after that, it started to trail off. Not the gay and bisexual men ever decided that was something they were going to participate in. They decided, no, build another resort.
Fine, we'll build resorts.
Yes,
right. But also we have on the other side of that page, we have the elements in Europe that is much more comfortable with nudity of the body. Versus the Puritan enlisted, oh my God, cover yourself to the neck and down to your ankles, Puritan view of the Americas. So you have those two coming into play, and a lot of stuff is coming out of England in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Then in the 80s and the 90s, we started getting pagan information being pushed out of the Americas back over there, and they're like, who's this? What's this about? Well, that's crazy. Well, that's insane. We also have to remember the two founders of Wicca, Alexander Saunders and, Buckland, going back, Gerald Gardner, were both nudists. So it was part of the editorial practice there.
Well, but I have to say, as a selling point, and I'm totally talking about this like it's a product, But from a selling point, it was probably the biggest differentiation one can make from any form of Christianity, and most other religions are pretty nudity averse.
Right.
I mean, go look through your world religions. There's not a whole lot that are really like, yay, nudity.
Right.
But for the time, this would have been a big differentiation between it and other religions, as this celebrates, nudity or has a place for it.
Right.
Or encourages it, invites it, in some cases probably forces it a little. That no, this practice can only be done in the nude. I don't mean in a, like forced.
Right.
Like, if you didn't want to participate, you didn't want to participate, you left.
Right.
And I don't think anyone was dragging you backwards.
Right.
But like that. So no, I think that the nudity was probably, as much as everyone wants to go, ew, skyclad, we don't talk about that. That just, no, we don't do that anymore. Because that seems to be kind of the reaction, is everyone's just like, ugh, not the skyclad thing. Like, let's not even talk about it. We're not going to justify it with our breath.
Right.
But when you look back, I think, love it. Love it, Devin. I love you. I'm all for tits out witchcraft. Thank you, Devin.
As long as you do not burn them, and I've had this discussion with ladies in the past.
As long as you don't what?
Burn them.
Yeah, don't burn them. Please don't burn them.
Remember,
burn the draws,
not the angle over the altar. Please stop setting witches' blouses on fire, because I will remember a number of rituals I was in. I had these priestesses that love those long, flowy gowns. Everyone that is paganist know what I'm talking about. They're extra flowy. They're all out of garland, this very light fabric. We are in the middle of outside rituals, so there are candles and bonfires everywhere. And I'm like, where are the chalices of water? Because we're going to need them. Because I will not say her name. But it was a guarantee. We kept extra clothes in the car for her because she was going to catch herself on fire.
So not just grab the sacred bic, but grab the sacred fire extinguisher.
For sure.
Yes. Well, but what I'm saying though is, as much as everyone gets a little squeamish on the topic of skyclad, because no, that's not part of the thing anymore.
New pagans get it. The older generation, like me, sitting around going, yeah, whatever. It is fucking February. We are not going skyclad, and furthermore, I don't think so.
Well, but here's the thing: is you do, in a sense, owe skyclad a very big debt of gratitude, most likely, for paganism getting the foothold that it did in the 50s and 60s and becoming a thing that is more popular today. But not for that, I think it would have just been one more religion.
Right.
Wouldn't have had a lot of controversy, wouldn't have had a lot of people get interested, but granted, for the wrong reasons.
There was a lot of controversy.
Granted.
A lot of controversy. That was just one of the
that's what I'm saying,
other things there. There's a lot, a lot of people do not want to talk about the, shall we call it, what's the word I'm looking for here? Rivalry between Gerald Gardner and Alexander Saunders. Like, sorry, that rivalry there kept the British press interested in what are they going to come out with next? Who's going to go up against next? Is this going to be which war? I mean, there was a battle going on there that was fucking amazing in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, so Shannon says that's like making bacon naked. Be careful, LOL.
Yes, but no, be careful around fires.
Right, but what I was more importantly saying was, I think that the skyclad is part of what built the controversy.
Oh, yes.
Like, I was not saying that it was uncontroversial. I'm just saying it would have been less controversial but for the skyclad. Right. I think that was the big one that was like, no, it's an affront to everything we believe in.
Right.
In terms of building its controversy. What was it the auntie said in Practical Magic? Oh dear, know very well nudity is optional.
Yes.
There you go.
And it's always been optional. It's always been free with where you're at.
Also, please rate my interpretation or my reading of that line, considering I have not seen the movie.
What?
I haven't.
Damn, I might have to take the night off.
Take the night off.
Watch for dinner.
It actually is. I think it's either on Prime right now or it is on HBO Max. I can't remember which. I saw it the other day and I started to watch it and then I was like, I don't have time for that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't have an hour and a half. Like literally, I did not have time.
One, it's an hour and 44 minutes.
Well, yeah. Brenda's just horrified over here.
Yes.
Like, no! I don't know. Give me credit, though. I've watched so many times Charmed. Y'all don't even know. Like, I was pre-prepped before this. Aeson, fix it right now.
Yes, we will be fixing that immediately. No wonder he doesn't get some of the concepts that will, banter between me and a few of the other witches. Lord, goddess.
Yes. But no, I haven't seen it. We had this conversation and you were just as horrified then. Apparently it induced a stroke and you forgot. During one of your classes, you were talking to your students about seeing practical magic. And I was like, no, I haven't seen it. Do I need to make a car trip tomorrow, says Shannon.
Shannon, I would love for you to come make a car trip and bring me some belladonna and vodka, but I don't think that'll be necessary.
Well, there we go.
All right, let's take
Bad Joe in the corner now.
So, yes, we'll be watching that over dinner.
Okay. We'll watch that over dinner.
And, so that'll be fun. And then also...
Honey, I don't think they're coming here to punish me. I think they're just, I think this is like that moment when you find out your friend has not seen Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's not a trouble. You look for virgins who have never seen the movie.
Anyhow, so let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll discuss about what's been going on around here within the last 2 days.
There we go.
And how aggravated I am.
Yes.
Hi, this is Sandy Starr. I'm a psychic and I work on Keen, and I have been working on Keen for over 22 years. You can reach me on 01068. I deal with a myriad of subjects, but I do specialize in relationships, marriages, divorces. Is he cheating? Is she cheating? Whatever the dynamic of the relationship is, I will guide you through. I've got amazing radar for cheaters, so I will tell you the truth if he or she is cheating. I can help with any subject you need me to help you with besides relationships, and I look forward to hearing from you. Again, you can reach me through Keen, and my extension number is 01068. I really look forward to hearing from you and helping you with whatever you need me to help you with.
Hi, I'm Tracy Van. I'm a psychic medium and I work with tarot cards. I also practice Reiki and access bars. I would like to share with you what a reading with me is like. It is a blended reading of psychic and mediumship, and I deliver these messages exactly as they come through. I'm not going to mince words or add any padding. I am a professional, reliable, and honest communicator. I have readings available anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. You can book a reading with me at tracyvan.com. That's TRACYVANN.com. And no, I'll always tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here from Rowan Temple of Light, and I'm here to tell you about our events this summer. First up is Beltane in the Hills, May 13th, and that is from 1 to 6. We have entertainment, we have a bunch of vendors, we have a fairy photo shoot. It's going to be exciting. You having any questions, reach out to Earth Magic or to myself. After that, we have Central West Virginia Pagan Pride, August 19th. That's at Holly Gray Park from 11 to 5 for the day. And we will have Sarah Masters coming down from Pittsburgh to be our keynote speaker. We have some great classes for that. So if you want to get involved, reach out to Rowan Temple of Light at Gmail, or just follow us along on Facebook at Rowan Temple of Light, and we look forward to seeing you out in the community. See you there.
All right, welcome back. So, Joe, do you want to explain why I'm a little miffed and things are going to be off for about 2 weeks in general?
Oh, just take it away.
So, I'm a little miffed because, I don't know, I've been struggling for about a week and a half, maybe 2, to like stay awake when I'm supposed to be awake, be asleep when I'm supposed to be asleep. You know. So that was a little mystifying. And then what? Well, it's got to be the 27th according to my graph. I said I can't do this anymore. Something is not right. I either need to go see the doctor or we need to figure this out because I'm sleeping like crap. I should be able to fall asleep. I'm not able to fall asleep. I should be able to wake up and I'm not waking up. You're tired of trying to wake me up. And you made a comment and I looked at you like you had 3 heads.
Yes, you did. Again, you looked at me. Like, because this isn't the first time we've had the conversation. We've had the conversation. Every time he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And goes on to find something else that you know, maybe this is it. And like, because one, you kind of go through periods where this is a major problem for you.
Right.
And then you go through periods where it's like, it's not a major problem. It's just an annoying problem. So I brought up the fact that I, again, think that he is non-24. Point blank, that you do not have a 24-hour circadian rhythm. You are getting extremely exhausted because you're hitting the flip side of having a non-24-hour day.
Right.
And that your days are running, you know, X number of hours, and you're eventually getting to a point where your day and night rhythm is backwards.
Right.
And then you'll go through a period where it flips back again and it's not as bad.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, things are going to be a little different. They may have to change around here. We will see. We're tracking to see the pattern and then we'll go from there. The reason I'm miffed and the reason I've always said no, and this is why I say no, is because everything out there says to be non-24, you have to be blind. I'm not blind. I have very good eyesight. Most of the time, as long as I don't have to read shit.
Well, but you're not blind.
Right.
Point blank. Like, you can see something.
I can see everything.
Well, because the problem... Yeah, the problem with being blind and non-24, the connection there is that your body does not get the visual cue of light and dark.
Right.
So it's very easy for the body to be confused about, is it day or night? I don't know. I don't have a reference point. I'm not getting the cues that are supposed to tell my brain, hey, it's night. Hey, it's day. But that hasn't always been the case. It's actually come up with a number as being part of
Right.
a number of different neurodivergencies, as well as there are just people that are non-24 for unknown reason.
Right.
So the reason I know about it is because it is correlated with ADHD. There are a high number of people that are ADHD that are non-24.
Mm-hmm.
There are a high number of people that are autistic that are non-24.
Right.
There are some people that are bipolar that are
Right.
non-24. That has a different reasoning, though. It's not true non-24. There's a whole explanation on that. That it has more to do with the cycling.
Mm-hmm.
But it does throw off sleep in sometimes the same kind of ways.
Right.
So yeah, no, I'm effectively bipolar disorder can disrupt circadian rhythm.
Right.
Because you are cycling through, the highs and lows of bipolar disorder, which comes with extreme sleep and extreme periods of non-sleep.
Right. And there's a lot of different things we're going to try, but the first thing is establishing the pattern.
Mm-hmm. So right now he's doing what's called free running.
Right.
At least within the non-24 communities, which is he's sleeping when he's sleepy and he's waking up when he's rested and wakes up naturally.
Right.
And doing what he does until he feels tired again.
Right.
And so we're tracking all of that so he can get some insight as to what that looks like.
Right. And, we found some lovely time trackers. I will give them that. But I will tell you, the resources and videos on this shit is terrible.
Yeah, a lot of it is built around the medical community in terms of basically non-24 is one of those things that doesn't really have a good community, so to speak, around it. A lot of this is built for identifying patients.
Right.
So non-24 has finally gotten to a point that not only are we acknowledging it, that it exists, because it spent so long being exactly what you said. Well, that's only a blind people thing.
Right.
Okay, now we're starting to recognize that more portions of the population than just blind people fit the same diagnostic criterion.
Right.
But a lot of this is built towards locating patients and trying to encourage medical treatment to normalize you in terms of getting you to a point that you function on a 24-hour cycle or more of a 24-hour cycle, than accepting that, like, no, this is just part of me.
Right.
This is a thing that I do, and that's okay. And a lot of that has to do with many of, like most people are not self-employed. Most people work a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and it is really inconvenient to not have that sleep consistency and the ability to wake on command at roughly the same time every day within a few minutes. And it does create massive problems for people when they are trying to hold down a job and their sleep cycle is shifting their days like an hour at a time.
Right.
It's very hard to find an employer that'll let you come in at 8 on Monday and 9 on Tuesday and 10 on Wednesday and 11 on Thursday and 12 on Friday and cycle through your sleep cycle.
Right. But where I have control of my schedules and can get a lot more done if I have a 36-hour window to do it in. We've got to find what my window is. But the other part of that is what aggravated me is everything I found is go follow this protocol and take these magic pills.
Right.
And I'm like, no, thank you.
Well, because then you find because it is a small community, but it's there.
Right.
What community exists basically splits, not even down the middle. It's sort of like a 75-25.
Right.
25%, and these are rough numbers. This is just kind of an overview. But it's a very small percentage see any real success long term. Now, a lot of people report massive improvement short term.
Right.
Like, oh, I started taking melatonin and my life's great again. Oh, I started light therapy and my life is great again. Oh, I'm taking this, medication and my life is great again. Not a large number of those hold on long term and have the same consistent result. Sometimes it works very, very short term, and then it falls back, and it's kind of like you're right back where you started with or started at. And there's not a lot of really good long-term success stories. Most people may not even respond at all.
Yeah, because melatonin only does one thing for me. Guarantee me I'm going to be up for 3 days.
Well, and again, that sometimes depends upon how much you take. Because that's the weirdo thing of melatonin, is that less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Because all you're supposed to be doing with melatonin dosing is tricking your body into releasing melatonin.
Right.
If you give it more than a microdose, enough to trick it to release more,
right,
you inadvertently signal to your body that it's already released more.
Right.
And you can get stuck at this point in which your body won't release melatonin and you can't go to sleep because your body thinks it has already done all the things to put you to sleep.
Right.
And you didn't do that. And so now it's like, well, we're not wasting that.
Right.
Good luck. You got everything you were going to get as an impetus to go to sleep. So now, may the odds be forever in your favor.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, Brenda says that makes more sense than most things I blame. And Shannon says, my doctor would tell me to go camping, no electronics for a week when I had that problem. Guess what happened? I slept till noon. I still slept till noon. Yeah.
Well, and I've had this theory for a while now. I call it the natural system. Meaning the human body has its own biorhythm, and we all know the biorhythms have been messed up here lately with the slowing of the Earth, the changing of the Earth's planetary fashion. Of course, that also changes the gravitational forces that's been going on. So we may see that in this. Again, this is going to be something that you see in Psychic Plans. We're actually going to decorate my timekeeper.
Yes.
It's going to be part of the thing. And I want to kind of warn everybody that tends to message me that you may think that I'm awake, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Wake up, and after I get done with my morning routine, if it's my morning, if it's my afternoon, whatever it is, I will answer you.
Yeah, we may actually have to start doing some kind of Aeson is awake. Aeson is asleep.
Oh, I don't know. I think that may be a barista thing where they get the good morning coffee gifts that I find.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool.
But no, I'm glad you're looking into this and exploring it. Because even if I'm not right, which I'm not guaranteeing at all, I'm just saying I think because it lines up.
Right.
Again, not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. Go see your own doctor and do your own research. That's all the things that we have to say.
That? I want to really reverse that.
Okay.
Do your own research.
Then see your doctor.
Then see your doctor, because doctors' first response is grab the prescription pad. But if you have the ability that you know where your sleep pattern is and you can adjust your life to that, then you can play with it. Like if mine is a full 24-hour over a 3-minute span switch, and we can see that in the lovely colors, then we can go, okay, so every 3 months I'm going to be on night shift for about 2 months, and then I'm going to be back on day shift. Great, then we can just schedule my life around that. I don't have another medication that I've got to take and hope that I'll wake up if there's an emergency. Because for a very long time, I had sleeping pills. Matter of fact, we
Mhm.
still have a very full bottle of them for me to go take if I wanted to. But the problem became that you couldn't wake me up.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of debate around whether you actually get restful restorative sleep with sleeping pills, or if you just basically get knocked unconscious for a period of time
Mm-hmm.
that mimics sleep. Your body gets some rest, but it's not real sleep.
Right.
And there's a lot of debate around that.
Right.
Anecdotally, at least, a large number of people who've been prescribed sleeping pills do have a large problem with them, and that they're still tired,
Mm-hmm.
they're still wore out,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, they are now sleeping, in quotes, 8 hours a night, and it's still not doing a damn thing for them.
Right.
So, that's also a consideration.
Yeah. Brenda says she's been doing well. Sleep is off again for the last couple of weeks. Then you may want to do some time tracking. Like time track, because I've had days where I'm just fucking brain fogged. And, that's a sign of not really being restful slept. All right. So let's dig in, shall we? Plead your case. Are you the asshole this week?
Am I the asshole for blowing up on friend's brother after he said his life would be easier if he was gay? A few days ago, I, 19 female, blew up on my friend Sarah, 19's brother, Jake, 20 male. Sarah held a party at her house, and I decided to stay and help her clean up and stay the night, which turned out to be a big mistake. For context, Jake has always been weird towards me, making comments about my appearance every time I was near him for years, even after I tried telling him that I was gay. I've been out to my friends and parents for a year, but my parents never fully accepted it and grew distant after I told them. Eventually, after cleaning up, I sat down on the couch and he decided to sit next to me and start talking. At first, we discussed normal topics like school, but it quickly turned to my love life. I already saw where this was going, but thought it would be rude to change the topic or leave. As expected, he asked if I had a boyfriend, and I said no. He then said he liked me and asked me out. I politely told him no, and he responded, quote, "My life would be so much easier if I were gay, then I wouldn't get rejected by girls." I immediately blew up on him, saying that he was lucky he never had to experience not being able to tell parents about a crush that they asked about because they thought it was gross, or not being able to introduce them to a partner because he knew they would always want them to be of the opposite gender. I went on to mention more things, but at this point I was crying and stopped. He just sat there shocked and didn't say anything, so I just left and went home. The next morning, I received text from Jake's friends saying that I was an asshole for breaking Jake's heart and blowing up on him. I haven't responded yet. I don't know if I should feel bad or not. Jake purposely interrupted me anytime he flirted with me, and I tried to tell him that I was gay, but I probably shouldn't have blown up on him. Am I the asshole?
No.
I'm there too. Not the asshole.
Right.
Like you, and I think part of what you're going through is his friends only got the half of the story where, blinded by attraction, he has dumbly kept going,
Right.
trying to express his interest, to finally get the moment to tell you, privately what he thought and pour his heart out.
Mm-hmm.
While having never listened to every other moment in which he has tried to do this, in which you tried to gently let him down and tell him, quite frankly, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah, but see, you have that other problem, or at least I have had that other problem. And here's the other problem. You tell them and they pay no attention to it. They read it as the 1830s version of gay, which is happy. Oh, it's so great you're in a good mood and you're having a great day. So do you want to go out Friday night? No, I have a date with my boyfriend. You've just not met the right woman.
Well, yeah, and I think some of it's that. I think some of it is also no, they understand what gay means. They're just, thinking that, like, because there are, and it's rare, but there are people who will just say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And may just be using, like, oh, I'm gay, like they're throwing it around, like, stop barking up the wrong tree, dude. I'm not interested. Like, let me give you something
Mm-hmm.
that your mind can handle besides rejection
Right.
as to why
Mm-hmm.
this isn't going to work.
Right.
Very few and far between. It's way, way, way over talked about. I don't believe there's a majority or a large number of people out there doing it, but I'd say there's a very small kernel of truth to it that some people have at one point
Right.
said, I'm sorry, I'm gay, just trying to, as nicely as possible, turn down someone's advance.
Exactly. And I'm just saying,
But
my ruling is, sorry, you're not the asshole the other one is.
yeah, you're not the asshole. I really hate those friends are trying to gang up on you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not responsible for breaking his heart.
Right.
Quite frankly, that's an over exaggeration of the situation. Like, I'm sorry, it is.
Right.
He asked you out. You said no. He continued to push it.
Right.
And effectively threw out this bullshit statement that he had no insight into. Like, he didn't know what he was saying.
Right.
That's how bullshit it was. And you educated him, at least partially, with your life experience, your lived experience. I'm sorry your parents were complete and total assholes.
Right.
And that you had that personal experience to draw from. But if you're guilty of anything, maybe a little trauma dumping, but at the same time,
right,
he wasn't taking no for an answer, and he made the most cruel and sensitive statement that he could have ever made to someone who really didn't deserve to hear it.
Right.
So he got what he deserved. Maybe next time he'll think it through before he says things he doesn't understand.
Right.
All right. So, let's see. Shannon says, "Oh, don't get me started on dumb dudes. Guys would ask me if I was single, and I'd say I was married. They'd start in with, 'Are you happily married, though?' Like, what the fuck? If I was interested, I'd have lied about being married. It's not code for try harder."
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gay doesn't mean prove to me how you are the right person for me.
Yes.
I will say I had a moment of this in college that was awkward, to say the least. I thought I became friends with someone.
Right.
And I'm not going to shame them. They really, like, it was a total miscommunication. But I fell into that, like, belief system that I could be a dude with a female friend, and that wasn't a thing. Right. And that she knew very well we were friends, and that, I wasn't doing anything I thought was, like, trying to date them or trying to express interest in dating. And we ended up in this very awkward conversation where it's like, so are we going to officially start dating? And I'm like, wait, what? Excuse me? And it's like, well, like, you've met my dad, and, like, we've been hanging out. We hang out all the time, and da-da-da-da-da. And I was just wondering, like, when you thought you'd want to actually start dating. And I'm like, this is a friendship?
Uh-huh.
I wasn't trying to date you.
Right.
And they ended up very, very mad at me. And I'm like, is the bar that low? And I knew the answer was yes, but is the bar that low?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I treated you like a human being deserving of dignity, respect, and, didn't try to force myself on you, and like that was what you needed. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I see the problem there. Like, straight dudes, you really are overdoing it.
Yeah.
Really overdoing it.
Yeah.
Rein it in. You're really fucking it up for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have no idea how overdoing it you are.
All right. Let's move into relationship poly advice.
All right. Oh, so anyway, poll up.
Huh?
Did you put the poll up?
Yes, the poll is up. It's on Aesonite.YouTube.
Okay.
If you want to vote, figure out if he's the asshole or not.
All right. So I am jealous, and I don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, all. So my husband, male 25, and myself, female 25, have been polyethical non-monogamous for almost a year now. It's come with its highs and lows, lots of lows for my husband particularly. If you want more context, I can make another post with what our journey has been like so far in more detail. Basically, my husband has really struggled finding anyone, and I've been going steady with my second partner for nearly a year now. I decided to open up the option of old friends as partners since I knew one of our friends would be interested in him, and surprisingly, she's also into me too, which I was not expecting. Things have been going well. She does not live near us, so we have only been able to keep in touch online for now. My issue is I keep getting jealous when he calls her pet names or when he treats her like his second little. I hate myself for feeling this way, and he knows me so well he can tell it bothers me and wants to fix it, but I don't know what to tell him other than I am the problem and I have to fix it. Where do I even begin? I want him to be able to experience poly too, and I'm holding him back. Emotions suck.
All right. So we kind of had this problem for a minute. Well, 2 minutes, actually.
Okay.
The separation between Bear and Papa Bear.
Uh-huh.
And the other incident where Invisible threw a basic temper tantrum.
Oh, what I picked out clothes for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this commonly happens. And I tell you what dude is doing, and he's not even meaning to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude is using the same pet names.
I don't know that it has to even be the same pet names. I think sometimes there's this moment where you're open to poly, just not that part.
Right.
Like it becomes that's the thing you do in generalities, the pet names, that portion of a relationship.
Right.
Can sometimes be this weird area that someone's like, I don't care if you bone someone else.
Right.
I don't like that you're getting emotionally close to them and you're using pet names.
Right.
Like, that threatens me.
Well, the other part of this was a part of the sentence I think everyone kind of looked over.
Mm-hmm.
They also get upset when he's treating her like his second little.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's almost in the category of like, you're the older child and daddy just brought home a new baby and now you have no idea.
Right.
Like, you need reassurance that it's still okay.
Mm-hmm.
That you're still important and you're still special too.
Right. Go buy her some new Barbie dress-up clothes and some coloring books. and treat, dude's got to do two things. One, he's got to have separate pet names.
Oh yeah, be very careful with that one. That can sometimes be really ugly.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like. I found it interesting. I've never had the real desire to call any like ex and current the same names.
Right.
Like I've never had that. Like I have one ex I never had a pet name for.
Right.
At all. Actually, two that I never had pet names for. Ironically, they have the same first name. Different spellings.
I have names for them then.
Oh, you have names for them, I know. But no, like for whatever reason, like they didn't inspire a pet name.
Mm-hmm.
Others, like I really haven't repeated pet names.
Right.
It's sort of like once I assign you a pet name, it's yours. You keep it forever.
Right.
Like it's dead to me now.
Right.
Like it just, no one else gets that.
Right. But no, the honeys and deers can become a problem for some people. And then common phrases can be a definite issue. So dude's going to have to take some responsibility, but the OP is going to have to take some responsibility. And this is the responsibility they're going to have to take, is learning and asking what is the need not being met. Are you not getting enough secure time? Are you not getting enough quality time? Are you not getting enough attention time? Are you not getting enough stability? What need is not being met? Because this is the thing people do not understand with jealousy. Jealousy is actually need. It is the expression of an underlying need that's not being expressed or addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you get jealous, that means that there's a need not being met there. Instead of getting jealous over the behavior of the other person, you have to actually self-reflect and go, okay, what am I not getting?
I could see that. I wonder though if it happens out like, and I know that doesn't apply here, but I also wonder if there are negative reactions in the situation that aren't jealousy. Like you don't have a jealous feeling, but you still don't like it.
Right.
Like, would that be from the same like wellspring of unmet need, or is that something else?
No, that's from that whole wellspring of unmet need.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Right.
Like I don't particularly care. Like, and it always sounds bad when I say that, but I haven't found better words for it. It's not that I don't care. It's that it doesn't, like, I'm just not jealous.
I can think of one particular time you've been jealous.
Okay. Do you need to message me privately?
No, I can just say you 15 and 18, and you know what I mean.
15 and 18?
Yes.
I need more.
Fine.
I don't know. I'm not saying it, like, I never have any kind of, like, I'll have momentary flare-ups in my own brain, but usually those go away real quick.
Oh, no.
Okay, see, that was different.
Okay, how is that different?
That wasn't exactly jealous. I can understand how you got jealousy out of it, but that wasn't what you should have gotten.
Was sitting on your chair.
Huh?
Green-eyed Bouncer was sitting right there on your shoulder.
Well, no, here's the thing. There was, oh God, this is hard to delicately say.
Okay, you were replaced before with someone of a different age.
Right. No, and if that's what you think that reaction was, that is not what that was.
Okay.
I understand why you told me what you told me about the situation, because fundamentally that was true.
Yes.
However, there was a little more to it that I didn't know that then got brought up later, and I was like, excuse me?
Uh-huh.
That's not what you said. But then going back through it, okay, technically what you said was accurate and truthful.
Right.
It just, and at the end of it, I had to look back and go, okay, like, really, was it that big of a differential? But when I first heard the like a couple of extra details that existed,
Uh-huh.
I did not exactly have a jealous response as much of a, excuse me?
Uh-huh.
That's not what you said. That is not what you said.
Uh-huh.
Was my reaction. I was having this awkward moment where I was trying to also be polite
Uh-huh.
because they were here, and it's like, I'm not mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with you. You're fine.
Uh-huh.
I currently have a problem with my partner who said a thing that now I'm being told wasn't quite what happened. And so, well, but in the final under.
No, because you didn't meet him for another 2 years.
Then I don't know when you thought I got jealous. Because now I did have a moment of like, excuse me, we're going to talk about this later.
No, I'm going back to when you were in Princeton and they were here.
Yeah, that still wasn't jealousy. Okay, now I remember that conversation. I did have kind of a moment there of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were really excited telling me about them. And I did kind of have a flashback moment. I did kind of have a flashback moment on that.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was in a similar situation. And what I effectively got told went like this. I was dating a guy. I thought everything was going great. I thought I was moving to a whole different part of the country to be with them. Like, I was locked in.
Right.
And then they started casually dropping, really excitedly, information about this friend of theirs. And, that they were talking and blah, blah, blah. And I was fine with that. I was like, whatever, cool, have fun, enjoy. I'm glad you found a friend. And then I got, totally ignored on Valentine's Day. And then I got dumped a week later. And it was so that they could go be with them. And effectively, the situation was I was being replaced with a younger model that physically was much different than me. And I did not take that well.
No.
Because I kind of felt like I had a lot of positive improvements in my life during that relationship, and I was in a really good place. And then to be completely ignored on Valentine's Day and broke up with the week after for someone else. No. So I did have a flashback moment. And again, it wasn't really jealousy. It was insecurity, lots of insecurity of like, is this happening again? Because if this is happening again, you need to get out now.
Right.
Like, that was really my whole reaction was like, you need to break up with me right now. Because if you pull the same stunt my ex did, I will have a complete and total nervous breakdown.
Right. AKA
because I can't do it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brenda's laughing. I love Joe trying to place timelines. Yeah, because sometimes we talk about events and like I do have like sometimes like with this particular person, I have the moment I strongly remember in which I was having a moment. Versus, there was a moment preceding that I kind of forgotten about because that wasn't the case, and we went through that, and I was not a repeat. But there was a moment there that like you started talking about them, and I was like, you need to break up with me now.
Uh-huh.
Like, if this is what you're doing, if this is where this is going to go, you
Right.
need to break up with me now.
Right.
Because, this will end badly. Like, this is one of those weirdo things that while I don't really get jealous, this is one of those things that, like, kicks off insecurity in me, like,
Okay.
crazy.
Hold still. Hold still. Let me get the poll here.
Okay, what's the poll?
Well, I'm going to end this poll and start a new poll.
How crazy is my boyfriend on a scale of 1 to 10?
That's not what I want. That. Start a poll.
Okay.
Was Joe jealous? Yes or no?
Okay, well then I think they need a little more detail than that.
Okay.
All right. So my ex started talking to me about this guy, and he didn't give me very much detail other than he was a bigger guy, that he was very attracted to bigger guys. He was very attracted to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, oh, okay, that's fine. What I came to find out in the process of being ignored on Valentine's Day and then broke up with a week later was that this guy was 15.
Mm-hmm.
So at 24, thinking I had my whole life together, getting ready to graduate college, getting ready to do all the things, I found out I was being dumped for a 500-pound 15-year-old. While I was currently, 24 and in the best shape of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was mentally happy. I was physically perfect, like physically doing great. Let's not call it perfect, but I was physically doing great. I had dropped a crap ton of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had gotten down to like 200 and like 15, 20 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
This was within the period of my mother passed away during my freshman year. Like I wasn't out of college yet. I was on my 5th year. But my freshman year, my mother passed away, and I went up to 420 pounds. So I'd lost half my body weight.
Mm-hmm.
Half my body weight from that high. Everything was going great. And then could not get a hold of him all through Valentine's Day. Not a word, not a response, not a text, and to beat it all, he broke up with me through AOL Instant Messenger. The man did not have the balls to call me.
Right. That's the backstory.
Yeah.
Here's here's the story. Well, not backstory, but here's the current story.
Joe was borderline homicidal, not jealous.
Okay, so we're dating. I think we are we're almost a year in.
Mm-hmm.
The Invisible does this thing again, and I go out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
With a dude that's 18, into computers, into gaming, really sweet guy. And
he's bigger than me. He's very cute.
Yes.
Like he really is. Like we will set up any of our friends with him. He is adorable.
Right.
And so don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here thinking that I'm not trying to trash him. He really is a sweet guy.
He's a very sweet guy. So
you have this date. You're really excited to tell me about this
really
date.
Great date.
It was a really great date. But I like what I'm hearing just rung the bell of this horrible moment in my life. And I don't call that jealousy. I call that you hit a flashback point, like you set off some PTSD I didn't know I had. I had a trigger unknown. Because all I could think is, you better break up with me now because I will go to prison for a felony against you.
Yeah.
Because I will snap.
Right.
I will absolutely effing snap if I get traded in again for someone who is bigger than me, younger than me. Like, thank you, he's legal. But still.
But anyway, so for the next month and a half to 2 months, he is all prickly at the mention of this dude. Still prickly.
Well, because you were really excited. Y'all were still talking, and I was having a moment with it of like, okay,
right.
This, like, it just kept setting off that alarm bell. It just kept setting off that alarm bell.
Right.
And so we did finally have a conversation that no, that's totally not the deal, and that's not the thing, and you know, like, even if you wanted to, as an added bonus, he wasn't in a life position for that to even occur.
Right.
Which I have to say did help a lot. Like, I hated that for him, but at the same time, it was a really quick way to like throw water at the fire.
Right.
Because
throw water at the fire, ladies.
You know. Well, because it did keep burning up with me. Okay, so Shannon says, if you're saying jealousy equals insecurity, then yeah. But that could be as much ego and trauma as insecurity, jealousy.
Yeah.
So Brenda says, you're having a word difference like a friend and I have. What the jealousy means to you means something different to Joe. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying I've never had jealousy. Like, I'm actually more likely to have jealousy about friends. Like, I have become, like, I went through this thing in college where I got really jealous of a few of my friends because they were my best friend, but I wasn't theirs. And that did something different to me. That was a different kind of, like, what do you mean? Like, how can we spend this much time together? How can I do this much stuff for you, and vice versa? How can I know this much about you, and vice versa? And we're not best friends? Not even Southern best friends? Like, I didn't think I was your bestest friend. But I thought I'd gotten to the rank.
Right.
General best friend, because this is the fucking South. You have 20 of them. I understand. It's fine. I didn't want to be your bestest friend. I thought I was in the mid-tier. Like, but you're over here introducing me like you just met me at the club last week? Like, what the fuck? This is my friend Joe. He's great. Blah, 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 blah. What? I'm just the friend? Like, that's it. That's all I get? Like, I would gladly tell anyone you're my best friend. Like, you know shit about me that no one should know. So, yeah.
But no, you have, that is one time I can say, no, in my opinion, Joe was jealous. He was totally insecure. He was totally uncomfortable. He was totally prickly about the person. And it's like, okay, cool. See the point. Know the point. Understand the point.
Well, but it wasn't about the guy.
Right.
Like, it really was. It wasn't about the guy. It had more to do with what are you, my partner, going to do? Like, if you're getting ready to pull the stunt my ex pulled. Because again, I wasn't even
pulled one stunt that any of his exes have ever pulled.
I'll have to think on that. What? But no, but it would just, it lined up so much. Like, I just kept having this like flashback moment of like, this is getting ready to happen again. I'm getting ready to have this happen again. that all, like, so to speak, the stars are aligning, and this is going to happen again. I am dating someone who's going to do this to me again. And I think the severity of my reaction had more to do with I can't do this.
Uh-huh.
Like, I can put up with a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
I really truly can. And not have a problem with them, be okay with them, be cool with them. Like, there's 101 ways, 1,000 million one ways you could dump me. I'd be okay with.
Uh-huh.
But that's the one thing that it's like, no. You're gonna send me way to a padded room.
Right.
Like, straight, like, do not pass go, do not collect $200, straight to little bouncy room.
Mm-hmm.
Because my brain will explode, because it basically did last time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. Let me just say my ex regretted the words joint banking account.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah.
All right. So to the ruling of the polls, and then we're going to wrap up for the night, guys.
Yep.
All right. The ruling of the polls is no, you are not the asshole.
All right. I'm not the asshole. Now, am I jealous? Because Brenda's still over here going, by Aeson's definition, you were jealous.
Yes. Yes, you were jealous.
I was jealous. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll allow it. I was jealous then.
Yes.
Like, that wasn't really my definition, but okay, if that's the definition, then yeah.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. I'm just sitting here going, I usually think
insecurities when I start dating someone new that fits within those categories.
Well, and I think only the first time. Like, we got that one out of our system. I don't think I've had it since.
I don't think I've dated anyone new since.
Yeah, you have. A certain nurse we still both talk to.
Yeah, but that's different. That's not one-sided. And
well, that's not one-sided, but
that doesn't fit the categories, though.
Okay.
He's not bigger than you. He's not. He is younger than you, but he's not bigger than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see what happens the next time he goes shopping at, a track meet.
I don't go shopping at track meets.
What? Brenda says, Joe, hush, don't make him think of another. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Take my husband, please. Take him out. You'll bring him back. I know you'll bring him back. Like, all sales are final. It doesn't matter if you keep your receipt. No returns.
All right.
You hate when I do that. I love doing it.
There's a lot of things I hate you do, honey.
Oh, love a bear. All right. All right. So moving into the Patreon support thank yous. Of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, which, by the way, have been updated now. You got new stuff a-coming. Please visit pcspnetwork.com.
Yep. And a reminder, this Saturday, which is tomorrow, is like Saturday, so Aeson's readings are on discount for $25 for 15 minutes. And baristas, yes, your codes work on those for private readings, but also baristas. This is your reminder. Go register for your ticket for the gallery reading if you want to join us for the gallery reading tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Yep, and don't forget to join him for Energy Overview so you can find out your 3-card reading for your by astrology sign for your month of May.
Yes, and that's your love, money, and career. We'll be looking at the astrological energies for that month. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Go check out your new benefits. If you looked at PC, and I think we have to update them on the site itself too. So that is still in the process.
Yeah. And if you're just tuning in, you want to say thanks. Remember, Cash App and Venmo to at Aeson Knight or at Mystic PC. We gladly accept you buying us a cup of coffee.
Yep. And we have a new ending that's uploading. So, but no, I'm going to probably keep Psychic Saturday moving. Joe, why don't we go over the benefits of the different memberships that we've updated?
Oh, why? You always put me on the spot with this.
You should have it.
I never have it up.
You've had the page up all day.
I did, and then I didn't. I got ready for the show. I start closing windows. So, all right. So, tall supporters for just $1 a month, you get an end of video thank you during credits, a 25% discount on a private reading with Aeson Knight, access to our private Facebook group, free access to all virtual classes, free ticket to gallery readings, early access to videos, early access to daily tarot, and daily affirmation. For just $4 more, you can become a Grande member at $5 a month. You get much the same, plus you get the monthly station meeting and a 50% discount on a private reading with Aeson Knight. For $5 more dollars, Venti at $10 per month, you get all the same things plus another 25% for a 75% discount on a private reading with Aeson Knight.
And, those are the new updated ones. Plus, you get early access to videos. There's Happy Mail that comes out when we can get it to the post office, and we have clearances from our vendors to do so.
Yes.
We send out Happy Mail to all tiers, but that's not listed there because it's not like we can say you get Happy Mail every quarter or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So that's all the fun stuff there. Mm-hmm. Be sure to check that out. Let's see if our new ending is up. It is. And with that, y'all, good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.